Hello there, plant fans. Welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. I'm your host, Dr. Russell Sharp. I am the founder of Eutrema Limited. We manufacture bespoke fertilizers, novel biostimulants, and organic biopesticides. And one of the things that we manufacture and produce are wetting agents, or also known as surfactants. And these are basically glorified soaps, and they are used for a range of different uses in horticulture and hydroponics. So I thought I would go through the different uses and different types that there are. Okay, so there are three main types of surfactants: anionic, cationic, and non-ionic. Now, if you remember from chemistry in school, cationic means positively charged, anionic means negatively charged, and non-ionic obviously means there's no charge, electrical charge on that molecule. Now, the way I always remember this is I think of a cat with a cross on its back, and that is cationic, for the cat is positive. Really, really stupid mnemonic, that one, but I remember it that way. And basically, cationic surfactants you can ignore because they're rarely recommended in horticulture because they're really, really strong antimicrobial, but also they kill algae, they kill plants, they kill a lot of life. So unless you're disinfecting things and you want permanent disinfection, not transient, non-residual, then avoid cationic surfactants and wetting agents. You're going to be focusing on anionic really in hydroponics. These are the ones that are used in growing media and in fertilizers. And the reason they're used is when your growing media has dried out to the point where it becomes hydrophobic. So a lot of soil, cocoa, coir, peat, even compost can, and I guess synthetic growing media as well, they can, once they go beyond a certain point of dryness, they can become hydrophobic, so very hard to re-wet and shrink down. And if you've been growing your plants in them for a long time and they have shrunk and compressed, then adding an anionic surfactant or wetting agent helps open that up again. And so that's why you use them. Now, you can buy purposely a wetting agent, and at Eutrema we manufacture two. One's called clay drainer because it's used in soil to help with improve the drainage of clay, but it can also be used in hydroponics as well as just a wetting agent. And the other one is yucca extract, which is a natural anionic surfactant, a soap, what we call a saponin from plants. I've talked about yucca extracts in the past, and that's a good way of opening up growing media, is either applying yucca extract or our clay drainer product. Other products are available, the wetting agents, and will be based on similar technologies. Now, some fertilizers contain anionic surfactants already, some saponins, natural-based ones, as well as some synthetic ones, and it's really up to the choice of the fertilizer manufacturer. I tend to not include them in with the fertilizer because I'd rather have the option of having that surfactant in there, because a bit too soapy, if you have a recirculatory system, it can get a bit too bubbly, a bit too much foam and things like that. But I think Shogun fertilizer has a surfactant in it, but don't quote me on that. Don't sue me, Aqualabs. But yeah, check out their product if you're looking for a product with a surfactant in. It's certainly got some sort of technology in there, some sort of wetting agent based thing, according to the blurb on the back of the label. But as I say, at Eutrema, we don't include any because we offer them as a separate product. We don't feel we need to add them. We give you the choice. And then non-ionic surfactants you might come across when you're mixing pesticides or foliar sprays, because these mix well with agrochemicals. So if you're mixing a pesticide, a herbicide, an insecticide, a fungicide, it might contain a non-ionic surfactant. They're rarely used as wetting agents for growing media or soil. The non-ionic ones, they're more used as sort of what we call an adjuvant, an additive to a pesticide to make it work better, whether a biological pesticide or a chemical pesticide. So that's those. What else can we say? There is something else I needed to add that I have not covered. Let me stall for a second while I pause this podcast. I have remembered. Yes, it's a lot of insecticidal soaps are also based on surfactants, anionic surfactants. And Now, a lot of the expensive products are actually based on sodium lauryl sulfate, which is the same thing that is in your washing up liquid and in detergent. That's fine for you and your washing up, but it's not great for plants because sodium is toxic to plants. It's as toxic as arsenic is to you. Sodium is to plants. So you don't want to be applying it in any product at all. You should always avoid sodium-based products. So companies that sell sodium-based products, let's dish some dirt. I don't skirt away from controversy on this product this podcast by naming companies. I'm just going to go and double check before I get sued. 2 products I'm pretty certain contain sodium lauryl sulfate, and sodium is toxic to plants. So you should look for an alternative. Let me just go and check that. So I found those 2 products and checked their safety data sheet. And yes, they contain sodium lauryl ethyl sulfate. The first one is SB Plant Invigorator, which is a popular product in both North America and the UK, SB Plant Invigorator, and is an expensive product and contains basically washing up liquid, sodium lauryl ether sulfate, at very low concentrations as well. So the alternative to that would be something like Eutrema's insecticidal soap, which is non-sodium based and provides plant nutrients rather than toxins. And the same goes for Canna Cure by the very big company Canna. Now, they hide their safety data sheets really, really well on the internet, but they have a number of Italian safety data sheets. The most up-to-date one I can find is from 2018 as well. But they're deep in the 2018 safety data sheet from Italy. It says it does contain sodium lauryl ethyl sulfate, but it says it in Italian, sodio lauryl sulfato. But the CAS number complies with the same as sodium lauryl sulfate. And so, yeah, don't use those products. I would advise use a sodium-free one. So, yeah, they're very common in a number of insecticidal products because they break down the waxy exoskeleton of the insects. So it's a physical mode of action. That's how they can be used. And just like washing up liquid breaks down the waxes and the fats that build up on the food, on your plates and on your glasses, the same goes on the insect. If you spray it and deluge it with surfactants, then the wax will break down and they will simply dehydrate and die. And that's how they work, those insecticidal soaps. And it's a fine balance between making sure it doesn't happen to the plant as well. So you have to get your formulation right. Not any idiot can do it, but this idiot can here. So yeah, wetting agents have a number of uses in plants. They're very good for re-wetting dried out hydrophobic grow media or grow media that's been compressed. They can be used on soil as well for the same reason. Non-ionic surfactants can be used with pesticides to improve their action, what we call adjuvants, improve their stickiness, their spread, things like this. And anionic surfactants are often used as well as insecticidal soaps, but make sure you use a sodium-free one. All right, that's been Hydroponics Daily for today. Hope you found it interesting. If you did, please leave an Apple podcast review. Obviously, if you're from SB Plant Invigorator or Canna, you're probably going to leave a 0-star review, but fine. Doesn't bother me. If you're not on Apple, then please check out Eutrema and check out our insecticidal soap. I'll leave a link in the show description for you as well. All right. And yucca extract as well. I'll leave a link for that if you need a wetting agent for your grow media and it's become hydrophobic. I'll leave the links to all those at the bottom of the page. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, goodbye.